Hey everybody, welcome to my Cartwheel tutorial. Hopefully with some practice and dedication, you too can master this move. Now, in case you don't know what a cartwheel is, it's simply a cartwheel into a front flip with a full twist. Pretty straightforward. So this tutorial will be broken into three main parts. First, we'll talk about the cartwheel. Second, we'll look at some progressions. And then finally, we'll break down the move. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so there are two types of cartwheels, the Gymnastics Cartwheel and the Triggers Cartwheel. We're going to be focusing on the Triggers Cartwheel for this tutorial, but I'll explain both so you know the difference. So let's start with the Gymnastics Cartwheel. For this move, you start in a lunge facing forward, perform the cartwheel, and then land facing backwards. In the Triggers Cartwheel, you start sideways, perform the cartwheel, and then land facing sideways the same direction you started with. Here's what they look like side by side so you can get a little bit of a clearer idea. Alright, now that you've seen both, let's take a look at the Triggers Cartwheel a little bit more in depth for this movement. So, the Triggers Cartwheel starts towards your dominant leg, which for me is my left leg with your arms in the air, winding up for the movement. The key to this is going straight to your side. From here, your non-dominant leg, which for me is my right leg, kicks up sideways. Coming out of the move, you should try to focus on whipping your legs down and your body towards the sky, almost like you're trying to throw a ball sideways over your head. And when you land, you want your dominant leg, which for me is my left leg again, to be ahead of your body. This creates height and is called blocking. Once you have a solid rebound out of your cartwheel, you can begin trying two of these progressions, but I won't go into too much detail on how to actually perform these. Now, the first is a cartwheel side flip. Now, this isn't necessary for the move, but it can help you get comfortable with flipping out of a Triggers cartwheel. Coming out of the rebound, you'll continue with your sideways momentum and tuck. Now, I recommend having a side flip on the ground already, and if you don't know how to do that, I'll put a link to that tutorial on the screen as well as in the description if you'd like to check that out. Now, the second thing is a cartwheel front flip, and this, in my opinion, is a much better progression move for the cartwheel because you have to actually do a slight twist to get this one. So, coming out of your rebound, you'll twist towards your momentum and tuck your head in for the front flip. Now, if you haven't learned a front flip on the ground yet, I highly recommend that, and I'll also put a link to that video on the screen and in the description as well if you'd like to check that out. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and break down the cartwheel. Alright, so the move starts off with the Triggers Cartwheel, which was explained earlier. Now, once you get to the rebound, this is where you're going to punch your hand that's opposite from your starting leg. For me, that's my right hand, up into the sky where it'll get ready to pull down and across your body. Your other arm, for me, that's my left arm, should be pulling back. It should feel like you're driving the elbow backwards and down towards your hip. Now, the combination of these two things will help us generate that spin, and also notice how I'm taking off with my toes. Now here, I just wanted to point out how my right arm is still punching towards my opposite hip and how my left elbow is pulling back towards my body. Now this is what's generating our torque or spin in the move. Here, I want to point out how my legs are lifting up into the air. It's highly important that you remember this is still a flip. A common mistake that I see is that people want to do the spin without actually going over their heads. So instead, they end up doing something that looks like this, which is called a double leg. So remember to go over your head because it's still a flip. Also, let me change up the angle here so you can see my head. Notice how I'm turning my head to spot the ground, and this helps with both rotation and landing. From here, the rest is pretty self-explanatory. You'll spot the ground, open up, and land. Now, this move definitely requires practice, so don't be disappointed if you don't get it on your first few tries. Also, maybe consider learning a butterfly twist if you can. The twist in that move is very similar to the twist performed in the cartwheel, but the main difference is that the cartwheel has a flip. So, if you're interested, I have a tutorial for the B twist, and I'll put that on the screen and in the description below. Now, if all went well, you should have landed your first cartwheel. Congratulations. Hey y'all, thank you so much for checking out the video. I hope y'all enjoyed it and learned something new, and if you did, feel free to leave a like below. That helped me out a ton, and if you're new here, consider subscribing. That way you can stay on top of new content that I upload. And I also just want to apologize for the long delay in uploads. It's been a really busy season of life, so I hope y'all understand. And as always, stay flippin' awesome, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.